right, here we go. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing here today? Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I want to thank the San Francisco Unified School District, the San Francisco Police Department, SFMTA, the Department of Public Health and Walk SF, and the Boys and Girls Club for working with us to make sure that our kids are getting to and from school safely. As the new school year begins, we are stepping up educational campaigns and enforcement so that drivers slow down and our students are safe, no matter if they're walking, they're biking, or taking transit. The SF Police Department Traffic Company is increasing its enforcement near 20 schools and focusing on our high injury corridors where the majority of the accidents happen throughout the city. We know that the key to reducing accidents and fatalities is reducing the speed that cars are traveling. A pedestrian hit by a car going 30 miles per hour is 6 times more likely to die than a car going 20 miles per hour. The SFMTA is repainting approximately 90 crosswalks to make them visible, more visible to drivers, and we are deploying 187 crossing guards, and we are joined here today by some of our most talented crossing guards in the city. Thank you all so much for your work. I went to Rosa Parks Elementary School, which was called Raphael Elementary School at the time, and we would all walk to school together, and we were so fortunate because we always had a crossing guard. There was always someone that would make sure that we got to school safely. That's what this is about, keeping our kids safe. Along with enforcement, we know that we need to make physical changes to our most dangerous transit corridors. Earlier this week, I unveiled the new Masonic Avenue corridor, which previously had been the site of far too many accidents and, sadly, far too many fatalities. Numerous city agencies work together to make the new Masonic Avenue a safer place for pedestrians, for bicyclists, for transit riders, and for drivers. And so hopefully I won't get any more of those complaints about bumpy roads along Masonic. It is a newly paved street as well, and it is absolutely beautiful. We are working on infrastructure improvements like this across the city, while also taking immediate steps to make our streets safer. So the point of this press conference is safety. It's about making people aware that as our kids return to school, we want people to be aware. We want drivers to drive more safely. We want people to look out for one another. And just to add, as I said, an extra bit of security, law enforcement will be out there in full effect, making sure that we are all on our best behavior. Together, we can make sure that every student in San Francisco gets to and from school safely. And I want to thank you all again for joining us, for helping us get the word out. And at this time, I want to introduce one of our partners in this effort, our school superintendent, Dr. Vincent Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor Breed, and I also want to thank you all for being here and joining us. On Monday morning, Monday the 20th, we're standing in front of Everett Middle School. Over 750 students will return to this school, and it's important that we do everything we can to keep them safe. And the number one way of keeping them safe is slowing down. Reducing speed saves lives. 750 students will return here, but throughout the city, 56,000 students will be returning to our schools, along with 10,000 staff members. And coming to these schools will be anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000 parents dropping them off and picking them up. We want to make sure that all of our people who are associated with our schools in any way, shape, or form are kept safe. So once again, we want to encourage you to know that we're starting school on Monday and we need you to slow down. What we're excited also about is that we are training the next generation of safe walkers. We are partnering with so many organizations, and what that does is it allows us to have our safety workers here, and they will be at our sites. Last year, they were at 15 of our schools, and this coming year, there'll be an additional 4 schools added with more safety workers to help our students stay safe. Daniel Webster at Cleveland Elementary, Gordon J. Lau, and Junipero Serra schools will have safety workers added to their sites. So we're really excited about Monday. We're excited about partnering with our partners to keep our students safe, and we're excited that you're all here today. With that, and without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our Chief of Police to you, Chief Scott.
Good morning. As we look to the start of this school year, the safety of our residents, especially our children, as the mayor stated, is one of our top priorities. Under Mayor Breed's leadership, we're collaborating closely with our partner agencies to put in place smart strategies to drive down traffic injuries and fatalities. And through those priorities outlined in our Vision Zero initiative, we want to get to 0 fatalities by the year 2024. And here are a few numbers to think about. While children represent about 6% of our traffic injuries overall, they make up a slightly higher proportion, 8%, of our pedestrian injuries, compared to 6% of passenger and 4% of bicyclist injuries. We're pleased to say that there's a downward trend in children traffic fatalities in San Francisco, decreasing from 3 in 2013, 3 fatalities, to 0 in 2016 and 0 in 2017. I think that's very commendable. Last year, we saw a significant drop also in overall traffic deaths. Compared to 2016, there were 34 deaths that were traffic-related. In 2017, there were 22 deaths that were traffic-related. And in 2018, we have 10 deaths. We're tracking better, but we know 10 is far too many. Just this week, a bicyclist lost his life to a hit-and-run driver in our Tenderloin district. So we are focused on getting to 0. What I've asked my staff to do, including the police department's traffic company, which many of are here today, is to conduct back-to-school child, pedestrian, and bicycle safety operations for the entire week of August 20th through August 24th. These officers will perform traffic enforcement at or near 20 San Francisco schools. I'll wait on the bus to pass, the train. Located near what are considered our high injury corridors. Our efforts to focus on the behaviors that jeopardize pedestrian and or bicycle safety, which are speed, failure to yield to pedestrians, violating bicycle lane regulations, and other at-risk violations. It's really important to point out that we work on these efforts year-round, not only during the school year, to make our streets safer. Throughout the school year, we're going to be engaged in traffic enforcement and education regarding the consequences of unsafe speed. We know that higher speeds increase the severity of injuries in a crash, so we're focused on getting drivers to slow down. We know that our presence in and around schools makes a difference in that effort, and our officers will be conducting high visibility enforcement and education in part through the state-funded Safe Routes to School program. We've done 30 operations so far this year. In addition, our school resource officers will also be on hand this year to engage with students and teachers and continue the conversation about safety on our streets. The message that I'd like to leave the public with, and it's the same message from the mayor and the superintendent of schools, is remember to slow down. The speed limit in the school zone is 15 miles per hour, and we will be out to remind you of that by enforcement and education. Watch out for small children entering our crosswalks, and with a little thought and consideration, we can help students start off the school year safely and to keep every pedestrian in our city safe throughout the year. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Tom Maguire, the Director of Sustainable Streets for the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Authority, to the microphone. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. It's great. It's a great time of year. The first day of school is a great time of year to remind ourselves and recommit ourselves to our city's Vision Zero commitment. That's the commitment to end all traffic fatalities in San Francisco by 2024. Our school children are, on one hand, the future of our city, but on the other hand, some of our most vulnerable pedestrians. And we can all do better. We can all do better by not speeding, by slowing down, and by yielding to pedestrians, especially seniors and especially our school children, as they walk to and from school. A pedestrian in the crosswalk always has the right of way. I'm really excited that I'm joined today by 4 of our most senior crossing guards. The MTA will have over 187 crossing guards out at over 100 elementary and middle schools this year. They're on the front lines to keep all of our kids safe and to work with our communities to build that culture of safety that we need. We need to replace our culture of speeding in San Francisco with a culture of safety if we're going to reach Vision Zero. We're also excited about some other things the MTA does to support safe travel to and from schools. Our Muni Transit Assistance Program provides transit assistance to help kids on the bus on bus routes with high rates of crime and vandalism. We've repainted over 90 crosswalks, high visibility crosswalks, so that drivers and pedestrians are very clear about the rules of the road, and they know where those crosswalks are, and they know how to use them safely. So we're very excited about our efforts at the MTA, both in terms of engineering and crossing guards and education. But it can't just be those efforts. We need everyone to participate in the effort to slow down and keep our kids safe, to move from that culture of speeding to the culture of safety that we'll need if we're going to achieve our ambitious goal of Vision Zero by 2024. Thank you, and I'd like to introduce my colleague, Jodie Madeiros, the head of Walk SF.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Breed, Superintendent Matthews, Chief Scott, and SFMTA Director of Sustainable Streets, Tom Maguire, for this opportunity today to talk about our partnership in making streets safe. For many parents, this weekend, getting ready to go to school is more about new sneakers and backpacks and school supplies. It's the work of figuring out how their child will be getting to and from school safely. Walk San Francisco is proud to be part of the team that's making it possible to choose sustainable forms of transportation, like walking, biking, transit, and carpool, or what we call the 4 fun ways of traveling to school. Because in the 1960s, about 50% of children used to walk and bike to school, and now that number is less than 20%. And we know that children and parents don't allow their kids to walk and bike and roll to school because our streets don't feel safe. And we're trying to change that. In 2011, San Francisco became the first large city in California to establish a 15-mile-an-hour school zone citywide. This is around 181 schools. We did this because we know that speed is the #1 cause of severe and fatal traffic crashes in our city. I'm proud to say that Walk SF led this initiative along with city agencies that are here with us today, because we need to help protect children, families, and all pedestrians citywide. Through smart initiatives and strong partnerships like the Safe Routes to School program, we are coming together to make sure that parents have options to get their children to school safely, beyond a single occupancy vehicle. This behind me is the team to put in place the necessary infrastructure, the engineering, enforcement, encouragement, and education through the Safe Routes to School partnership to enable our children, the future of San Francisco, to arrive to school safe, energized, and ready to learn. We hope to see you all on October 10th for our 10th annual Walk and Roll to School Day. We'll be announcing the location soon, but I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. This concludes the news conference. Members of our team will be available to talk right off stage here. So thank you for being out here today.